So warm welcome. Thanks, Arno, and Jesper for the introduction. It's good to see all of you here in one room. And I think it's not just the continents, as Nicole pointed out. And I think there's so much knowledge in this room, and I really want to motivate you to make usage of that. Yeah, talk to each other. Yeah, I will introduce you to some of the technology experts from Software AG at the end of my presentation, so that you can also see and connect a face maybe to a topic that you are interested in. Yeah, but I really want to encourage you to network as you already have started when you approach the room here. Yeah, so I think you should get the maximum out of this. Yeah, around your daily challenges you have, maybe around strategic decisions you want to make, and so on. My name is Guido Falkenberg. I'm heading the product management team of the Adabas Natural business unit. And today I'm giving you an overview what we observe within our customer base in the market. I will pinpoint to some of the product innovations. And most of the topics I cover in my presentation will have, I would say, a follow-up or a deep dive session, either by our valuable customers, by you and partners, or by Software AG experts. So, as Arno said, it's a I would say valuable set of agenda. We have set the pace, so in case you are not acquainted to 30-minute sessions, it's a kind of a high pace, yeah, but we believe a high pace covering a lot of topics has more value of you than running very long sessions on a topic, yeah. But whenever you have questions on specific topics, you either can approach me, you can approach Nicole, and we can help you, pointing you to other customers, partners, or experts. So without further ado, just a short disclaimer that everything we are talking about roadmaps is always a subject matter of change, but I will not spend too much time on this. Let me ask you the question: what is the number one goal that you have if you are in charge of Adabas Natural? So I would say you need to take care that the business critical application that you are running runs resilient, secure, and cost efficient. Because your government agency, your organization relies on Adabas Natural. So everything that I would say, pass on to you from product innovation point of view is paying into that, yeah. But we are not stopping there, because we believe there is what I call the perfect storm. The storm is that you have to ensure this resilience of what I just described, to have business continuation of your operation, of your application. But on the other hand, you have challenges, and at the same time, you have disruptive technologies handling at the same time. And let me just walk through some of the challenges that we have seen so far by talking to customers all over the world. I would say cost savings, specifically on the mainframe, are not going away. So we have to think about, if the workload is growing, if the application scales up, if your data volume grows, yeah, how can it be as cost efficient from a performance cost ratio point of view as possible? But as Arno pointed out, the skill shortage risk, I don't even know, Nicole, when we have written the first article on skill shortage risk, might be 10, 15 years ago. But the thing is, it's happening now. And it's happening to an extent that our customers consider the skill shortage as a real risk to the application. It's not just that a nice person, a friend, a colleague, a technical expert is leaving. Yeah, if these people are leaving, I would say you carve out some of the application knowledge that your business is relying on. And I strongly will recommend to get started, and I'm happy that some of you here in the room already have managed the generational change successfully. And I would encourage you to talk to these enterprises. I know it's Husbanken, I know Erste Digital from Austria have started the generational change, and many others here, maybe also here in that room. Yeah. So it's possible, but it's a matter of getting started. And security. I'm happy that we have Bob Jeffcott here from Software AG talking about zero trust later on. Even if the mainframe is being considered as secure, that should not be an excuse for you to say, I have to do nothing, because security threats they are intelligent, they are progressing, yeah? They find ways also into the mainframe that you might have not considered. And you will hear also later today and also tomorrow, things that we have been done from an innovation point of view also to make Adabas Natural more secure on the mainframe, on Linux, and on the cloud. But we also see, those of you who have listened to the general session yesterday on artificial intelligence, it's not just that artificial intelligence is disruptive, as it also appears on the right-hand side. Stefan Zick, our CPO, once said to me, artificial intelligence is overhyped on the short term, but underestimated on the long term. And I think there is a truth in that statement. We don't know yet how artificial intelligence will impact our daily life, being an application developer, being a system administrator, being an application owner, even me as being a product manager. But I can tell you what I've learned so far, it will be disruptive. Maybe not as disruptive in any area that we hear or read in the news, but I think it will be. And there will be a certain point in time where it becomes mainstream. So it will I would say, move away from this hype curve, into this realization phase, into that it just becomes another tool that we are using day in and day out. And it will definitely not replace everything. It's with any other, I would say, innovation, technology that comes in, the things will impact something, it will change something, it becomes part of the mainstream of my or of your daily work, But I definitely believe, specifically in context of application development and analytics, it will play from a short and midterm point of view an important and a disruptive role. And we talked about DevOps for a while, and I'm happy to hear. I know that the decision that we have made as Software AG, positioning Natural One as, I would say, the one and only development environment for Natural, was a big step for most of you, because it's not changing a tool, it's not a change of processes, it's the change of, I would say, culture, but it was approximately 10 years ago when we have made the decision. I still believe it was the right decision. Because if we think about the future of your application 10, 20 years, even 30 years from today, the development environment has to be on a technology foundation that is attractive for new talents going forward. It's not that I'm saying DevOps is better than everything that we have done in the past. I've seen things coming and going in my IT career, And DevOps will also continue on, There will be new ways of how we do on DevOps, But it's definitely, you have to remember, DevOps is not for the purpose of DevOps only. At the end of the day is to better deliver application changes under, I would say, a higher level of governance and security, working in collaborative teams. So at the end of the day is making your application better, hopefully, and deliver application changes and new functionality faster. There might be shortcuts. So I talked about the challenges, I talked about these disruptive innovations, but if you go to LinkedIn, if you go to social media, if you do some internet search, you will see a lot of promises out there who are telling you, there is a shortcut. Adabas Natural is not good going to the cloud. Adabas Natural is not modern. Adabas Natural is not DevOps ready. So, but I would like to take some time to explain you a few terms that are out in the market, because sometimes they are not well defined. Yeah? And but they all have the goal of killing Adabas Natural. Yeah. So in that sense, I try to be as neutral as possible here, but I think it's important for you to understand the impact of change and the risk associated with these approaches. The first one is redevelopment. Redevelopment means you completely start from scratch with a new programming language, with a new application runtime, like Java or C#, with a new database, with a relational database model, and on a new IT infrastructure. So you're changing everything. And it's not that it's impossible to redevelop an Adabas Natural application. The question is the huge investment of hundreds of millions sometimes, the risk of running a project for multiple years without not knowing if the outcome that you're getting out of this exactly delivers the same quality and the same business functionality, that's a high risk. The second approach is what is called refactoring. Refactoring sounds nice, but actually being also someone who studied computer science, refactoring is also misused, because at the end of the day, companies mean code conversion about this. So meaning you're putting natural code inside, then there is a machinery, and you get Java and C# code out of this. I can tell you the code that comes out of there is neither be well understood by a Java developer and neither be understood by a natural developer any longer. And at the end of the day, it's exactly the same business functionality and the same bad or good code you had before, but just in an unmaintainable fashion. Yeah. The other one is replacement. Replacement means, oh, there is a packaged application vendor or software as a service vendor says, I have a pre-built vertical business application that can do exactly what you have done before. The problem here is not that you also change everything. You change the language, the application environment, the database model, the IT infrastructure. But here, the big point is people totally underestimate how much custom-tailored coding you have done in your application. There is not, I would say, a standard application that exactly fits what you have customized over the last 10, 20, or 30 years. Yeah. And it might be a promise to say you get new functionality, but these projects normally, typically, I would say, have major investments to do afterwards customizing of the standard application before you have the same functionality. Yeah. And the last thing is called replatform. Replatform sounds a little bit like rehosting, but it's different. Because at the end of the day, you are emulating natural, but also the underlying technology is also being replaced by something else, by a relational database, by a new application runtime on a new infrastructure. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying here it's technically impossible, yeah. But every one of you should not believe promises too quickly if someone comes around the corner and says, oh, we can do this. Yeah, maybe they have done it. Maybe they have done it for one specific Adabas Natural application, for one specific customer in one specific country at a certain point in time. But what we definitely see is those projects run over budget, over time, and have a high risk of failure. And because the application complexity is underestimated, the business logic, the customization is underestimated. It's just not the application only, it's also how the application is being integrated with other applications, with batch jobs, with databases. It's also the results that you are getting out of this. Do you run in new dependencies that you don't want to have? Yeah. As Arno said, I think we have shown that Adabas Natural is a long-term business. It's a profitable business. Yeah. It's I would say, a technology that you not only can rely on for the last 50 years, yeah, but with our commitment with Adabas Natural 2050 plus also into the future. And we believe, and we would encourage you to say, take control, architect your future. If you are on the mainframe, optimize the mainframe, modernize your mainframe applications. if the mainframe is not the platform of choice, then prepare yourself, even if you go into the cloud in the next year or in the next 5 years, or you never go into the cloud. But we give you the options to innovate on the mainframe or to innovate on Linux and cloud. Yeah. And these two worlds doesn't have to be, I would say, black and white. Specifically also, and this is where we share IBM's strategy as well, we believe also in a hybrid cloud environment when it comes to the mainframe. Why should you move workload that is tailored to the excellence of the mainframe when it comes to performance, reliability, transaction throughput, yeah? A reliable backbone that you have built, yeah, why should you throw that away, yeah? But maybe there might be some areas in saying, okay, the way on how we interacting with customers and citizens is not, I would say it's not the way on how that I would like to build it on top of the mainframe. Maybe you do a few pieces in the cloud, but then you might integrate with mainframe on different levels, using APIs or using data integration. As I said, parts of our innovation areas that I will show you later on is definitely around mainframe DevOps. DevOps and mainframe are not distinct to each other. Yeah? They perfectly fit to each other. And when we actually designed Natural One, our design principle was whatever we present or whatever we put into Natural One should work for a Natural as it would work for Linux, as it would work for cloud. So from an application developer point of view, it should not change anything. You should just focus on coding, on delivering and designing and deploying business functionality. On the cloud transformation journey, the cloud is disruptive. I think we have heard this in the general session. Will all of the applications will be moved to the cloud? Definitely not. Will there be experience, bad and good, if you move to the cloud? Definitely yes, yeah. Because also, that's something what we have learned in Software AG, once you move to the cloud, the cost topic is not going away. Maybe it's different, yeah, but you have to learn also the cloud creates costs. And the question is, how can you leverage it best? Yeah? And I will show a little bit also on how we as Software AG have worked with the hyperscalers also to be prepared. But we are proud that whatever you want to do, if you want to adopt Linux even on IBM Z or on an x86 server environment, you can lift and shift Adabas Natural applications with minor change effort on a new IT infrastructure. What Arno said, the IT infrastructure flexibility that we provide to you. Also here, DevOps, even DevOps here plays, I would say, a more advanced or more an extended role than even on the mainframe, because the tools, the tool chains that you're getting provided here is much more advanced, I would say. And we're talking about container and microservices. Containers, from our observation point of view, are not widely spread used yet in our customer base. But I can tell you every customer we are talking to has some container exploration and research going on. Maybe not always in the Adabas Natural space, but definitely in other areas of the company. Yeah. As Arno said, what you need to take out of here, combining DevOps, container, and microservices, these are the 3 parameters that cloud native is using as a definition. Yeah. So Adabas Natural is cloud native today. Does it mean you get microservice out of this right off the, I would say, with a fingertip? Then I would say technically yes, but a microservice is more than just a technical interface. It's an isolation of a business logic that runs, I would say, independent to each other. Yeah. But we give you the technology, the infrastructure to move into this direction. So architect your future and rely also on Software AG's long-term vision of Adabas Natural 2050 plus, meaning that we are continuously supporting and innovating Adabas and Natural. So I've talked about the options, and we will focus our investment on 2 strategic platforms. It's IBM ZOS on the mainframe, as the IBM is continuously innovating and investing huge amounts of budgets and money to innovate the mainframe from an infrastructure point of view, from an operating system point of view. We are committed as well. And I will show you, and also you will hear from customers, how we can help you to optimize the environment and also to modernize the environment. But we also believe you need to get somehow prepared moving towards a hybrid cloud environment. Not all of your enterprises will have a mandate to move to the cloud, or to integrate the cloud. The statement here is Adabas Natural is ready today from a modernization point of view also to talk or to integrate in the cloud with a mainframe application footprint. Or you decide, as many of you are already running Adabas Natural on a Linux environment, you can continue run on it. You can use virtualization on-prem, you can use containers, you can use Kubernetes, but you also can take just an Adabas Natural application as is running on Linux and lift and shift it into the cloud environment. And I'm happy that we have one customer also presenting on Thursday, Nicole, if I'm right, DVLA, showing how they have done the first steps, also moving their application into the cloud. And we have first customers running their production Adabas Natural applications in the cloud. If you would ask me, and I have a conversation yesterday with some of you and saying, can I run every workload that runs on the mainframe today in the cloud? Then I would say you have to be a little bit cautious. I would say we have very positive experience. I would say we can also have customers who run mid-size to small, large-size mainframe applications already in the cloud environment. But if you have massive transaction volumes on the mainframe, you should, I would say, build up your experience on that. It's not that that we stay there. We have maybe closed everything from a functionality point of view that you would require. But I can tell you that we continuously invest, not only in the last several years, but any gap that we are identifying where we have, I would say, functional disadvantages in this environment, that we also keep closing them, so that that you have the choice really on running your Adabas Natural application on the IT platform of your choice. If it's on-prem, if it's on the mainframe, or if it's in a private cloud environment, if it's in a government cloud environment, or if it's in a public cloud environment. And we talked about Natural One, and the 3 sessions this morning will talk more about Natural One. We are improving Natural One, the latest version, 9.13, that we have released, heavily focused on performance improvements. If you run the latest version of Natural One and you still have performance issues, then please talk to myself, or maybe Eli, if you can raise your hand quickly. So Eli Cohen is a product manager for Natural and Natural One. You can also directly reach out to him. But Natural One, it's amazing. It fits into a standard open source DevOps toolchain. So it was designed from the beginning to collaborate with other tools and not to be proprietary. And I'm happy also that we hear a session later on by Trenton showing also how parts of the DevOps toolchain can be sitting in the cloud. It doesn't have to be always in your own environment. But Natural One is ready for that. And as I said, the reason why it's called One, because it's a one development environment for all different platforms that the Natural application is running on ZOS, on Linux, on-prem, Linux in the cloud, or even in a public cloud environment. And for most of you, the DevOps toolchain, it's not determined by Adabas Natural. Your company normally are having Java application development departments, and they are using already these things. And this was one key aspect that we say Natural One is supporting the same tool environment that the company already has in place also on the Java side. So we are not unique in a way. We are unique in a way on how we develop applications and run the database, but we don't want to be unique when it comes to a DevOps toolchain environment. And I'm happy to hear the sessions later on how this is being used in the real world. Let's talk about generational change. And when I was brainstorming with Nicole, what is generational change? Yeah? I had the picture in mind of a puzzle. Yeah? A puzzle has many pieces, but a puzzle only becomes complete if you fill in all the different pieces. Yeah? And we as Software AG, we try to do our best to help you managing the generational change. But it's not the complete picture. We do and continually innovate our products to become modern from the way on how the usability looks like, on how the products look and feel. So that's our responsibility. Our responsibility is to provide you product training in different ways, self-paced e-learnings, instructor-led training. It's our responsibility and our professional service responsibility with partners to say, okay, we can help you also with resources, with managed services, doing an assessment and health check to help you optimizing your environment. So the blue pieces are the ones that we are responsible for and that you can leverage. But there are other pieces, and this is, without, I would say, being too confrontative, it's your responsibility. You have to set up an attractive workplace for young talents or new talents, to gain and to retain them. You have to come up with a knowledge transfer and a transition plan of doing successions. You have to foster a cross-generational workforce so that older people respect younger people and younger people respect older people. It doesn't come out of nothing. It has to be on your agenda, or the way on how to continuously learn. And what Arno said, what we experience also having new talents in Software AG, give them the freedom to innovate. They come with new ideas. They know new technologies. But if you don't give them the space to embrace and share their ideas, you will frustrate them on the short term. And it's definitely partners, like also that you will hear later on, like IBM providing a lot of education trainings and courses and certifications and badges when it comes to mainframe education. But you have to build your puzzle. It needs to become yours. It needs to be, I would say, needs to have an executive sponsorship, in order to, I would say, to fulfill all the pieces. And I'm happy that we have also customers here talking about this, and I think Nicole will also share later in our event what we have in our education box ready for you. But don't wait. Get started. Even if you don't have the perfect approach, things don't have to be perfect. But if you doesn't start doing that, you will not resolve the problem. You either make the problem more critical for your enterprise. Let's get back to technology. Let's talk about mainframe optimization and modernization. And here I think we have shown over the last 10-15 years that Adabas Natural running on zip can be very cost-efficient scaling. And I'm happy that we have some of our key zip experts here in the room. Luciano, I don't see you. So Luciano, who just raises his hand, he's your key contact, and he will also talk about zip as well as customers talking about how zip is being leveraged. But we also leveraging innovation that is the IBM, built in the IBM Z infrastructure. Like we are leveraging pervasive encryption from IBM to encrypt data at rest and data in flight sitting in an Adabas environment. We will also continue on improving security with multi-factor authentication when it comes to development environments. And we continue on also improving Adabas and Natural from a performance point of view, from a scalability point of view, and from a manageability point of view. Talking about hybrid cloud, it's not that some of you already are using NTIX. We also improving the way of data integration because we believe the cloud predominantly is being used for data analytics. But the question is, how do you get data from a mainframe or Linux environment into the cloud? In the way on the how the cloud is expecting the data. And here we also improved not only our Connex data integration platform, but also the event replicator for COS, which makes you possible to replicate database data into event streaming middleware like Kafka or directly putting database data on an Azure blob storage or an AWS S3 storage. Yeah. So all of that is possible today. You don't need to step back if someone in your organization comes up to you and saying, make your data available for a certain, I would say, processing purpose in the cloud. For those of you who are directly working with Natural, you will be happy that in October this year, we are delivering the JSON parser. So even if XML is out there for many, many times, the new standard of exchanging data through APIs, but also through applications in a neutral and standardized manner is JSON, and this will be integrated also into the Natural programming language. So let's talk about the cloud transformation journey. And you will see real examples also in the sessions that we hear at the International User Group Conference. But it's important to understand moving into the cloud does not mean that you need to adopt containers or you don't need to re-architect the applications towards microservices. You can take the application as is with minimal changes. Once it's running on a Linux environment, you can lift and shift the Adabas Natural application from a Linux environment into a public cloud environment or into a private or a different cloud environment that supports Linux in the way on how we are expecting it. That's the first step, and that's straightforward. Same tools, same application, same data. But we believe fully leveraging the cloud is another step. That's a modernization step, or what we call a re-architect step. You may consider containers, Kubernetes, to automatically scale up and scale down your application. You might restructure or refactor your Natural applications into APIs, into microservices. You may want to use data integration to directly integrate with machine learning or artificial intelligence on the cloud. So once you are in the cloud, you can fully leverage the cloud. And the cloud is, I would say, it's always on demand. So that's the beauty of the cloud. I'm not always saying the technology in the cloud is better, but the provisioning is as easy as possible, and you immediately can scale up and down. So either if you run on Linux, and we have launched a number of new products on Linux in the last several years around AWS encryption, AWS cluster, the Natural high availability server, and you will hear about these new products also during our International User Group Conference. So let me put a picture in front of you that might be a little bit sound complex to you. But it tells you that Adabas Natural is cloud native and can fully leverage the cloud infrastructure. Meaning, first of all, we have sit together with the cloud hyperscalers, with AWS, with Azure, and with Google, and co-engineered cloud blueprints. That meaning we know how to set up an Adabas Natural environment in the cloud that the cloud perfectly supports the application from a storage point of view, from a network point of view, from the availability zone of point of view, from a distribution point of view, from a performance point of view, and so on. We have already talked about DevOps, that some of your DevOps tool change might run in the cloud, but I'm a big believer that the first purpose of containers, even on Linux on-prem, even on the mainframe, or even in the cloud, is primarily being used provisioning test environment, QA environments much faster than you have done it in the past. And we see first customers doing that. On the data tier, we talk about Adabas cluster on Linux, yeah, and you will hear about this session from our expert Ilan, who will also present later on, explaining you what it means. You will hear about a new product called the Natural Availability Server, because high availability is not only limited to the database, it's also concerned about the end user sessions. If you lose an end user session, you lose data, or you lose data entries. And I'm happy that Eli from my team will talk about this. And you can distribute all of this in different geographical zones. You can assign different data storage, different processors, different networks, different firewalls, different securities on that. Yeah? Once it's in the cloud environment, I would say it's up to your creativity or to your requirements setting it up. And once it's living in there, you can use our different kind of integration products, not only NTX, but also the Adabas SQL Gateway, the Event Replicator, Connex Data Sync, Entire Access, yeah, to connect your Adabas Natural applications with other databases, data analytic environments, and applications that are sitting in the cloud. And we will deliver a number of new capabilities in the October version coming up around security, key management, monitoring, as well as the JSON parser that I've mentioned before. So coming to an end, I would like to share one topic with you that you heard about yesterday in the general session, but we believe artificial intelligence also will have an impact on Adabas Natural. And we see these 4 use cases that might disrupt also you as an Adabas Natural person. First of all, I believe it will disrupt the way on how you implement and code Natural. It's called AI assistant, sometimes they call it a co-pilot, and I think Subhash yesterday nicely pointed out that there will be a human lead or the AI leading the task. Yeah. I believe application development will still be the human leading the task, but I strongly believe that AI will become more and more a good co-implementer, I would say, supporting your tasks. The second thing is around database administration and IT operation, where AI can help you discovering something maybe that you currently have in your brain or a colleague have in the brain, but to formalize it more, to say, okay, to automate it, to predict something that you don't see immediately. Or the topic of AI-driven AI data analytics, meaning you move data, database data, into a machine learning environment, so that you can use it to run, I would say, learnings that you cannot run today, because the analytics today is just being pre-described rather than intelligent on learning and training a model. Or it's the virtual assistant. A virtual assistant means you're not sitting in front of an application any longer on typing something, give me the customer information of James Miller living in Melbourne, but you talk to the application. The artificial intelligence bot understands your language, understands how to translate the natural speech into the way on how the application is being used and returns everything into speech again or into text. Yeah. These are still, I would say, our high probability areas. Will it change over the next years? Definitely yes, but I would be interested to get your opinion. And if you don't mind, it's very simple. If you can take your smartphone, scan the QR code here, then a survey pops up, and then you have a selection of picking one of these 4, or you can pick all of 4 of these AI use cases that you consider as most relevant. And we will share the results with you later on, but you already get the results also if you do that quick live poll. So I'm waiting here for 1 more minute, but I keep that maybe up here, and but I just want to say thank you for listening, and hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. And I personally, but also everyone from Software AG is more than happy networking and talking to you to make your life easier. Thank you.
Thank you, Guido. It's really exciting to have such an innovative thinker and leading our product management team at for Adabas Natural. And I will tell you, the whole idea of artificial intelligence, there's a twinkle in his eye every time he talks about it. So we definitely have a forward-thinking gentleman here. As we wait for a second for our next speaker to mic up, I just want to open the floor for a moment to see if anyone has a question for Guido. Yes.
I have two questions. First one is, we heard about the growth of Natural and Adabas. Surely this is true in terms of your revenues and profits, but what about the number of installations or customers? And the second question, I heard rumors that pretty soon the mainframe will not be supported any longer. Any comments on that? Thank you.
So maybe I can start answering that from a product management point of view, and then maybe Arno can also add this from a, I would say, general manager point of view. So there's definitely no decision, no plan not supporting the mainframe any longer. We either, I would say, rather invest into the mainframe than, I would say, stopping it. And we are continue working closely with IBM on driving that that forward. From a business point of view, then I might take over to Arno and giving you that perspective of customers and the business itself.
Thank you, Guido. Yeah, absolutely what Guido said is absolutely correct. We are investing in IBM COS mainframe. Yeah, we have 2 to 3 strategic platforms. One is the IBM mainframe. Second, the cloud, Linux. We do not force customers to move into the cloud, but we will support Linux. You know, we are retiring several other platforms. In the future, we are not going to support, for example, Solaris or AIX, but Linux. Everything on Linux, SUSE and Red Hat Linux, and the mainframe. And why did I say 2 to 3? To a certain extent, in particular for Natural One, but we have also a number of customers on Windows. So we continue to support Windows. But with huge workload, we see clearly Linux and COS mainframe as more strategic ones. Yeah. On Windows, we have a significant number of customers on Windows, but with lower workloads, yeah, and with very specific and particular applications, pretty much customized. So this is clear. Yet coming back to the other part of your question, clearly, first of all, from a company point of view, what is a good business? A growing and profitable business. What does it mean in terms of customer installations? I compare that with IBM's situation with the mainframe. Do they win net new customers buying mainframes? I think not so many. Do they grow? Yes, significantly. Because more and more workload goes to the mainframe. Despite the fact that there is so many cloud out there, IBM is growing with their mainframe. Do we win a lot of new customers with Adabas Natural? No. But do customers grow their footprint with Adabas Natural? Yes. There are even customers considering to transform pieces they have in COBOL into Natural. Of course, if you ask me, Natural is a by far better programming language, sure. And Guido mentioned it earlier, if you try to do this with tools automated, it very often doesn't work because later on you don't understand the converted code. But if you have particular areas with not so many COBOL programs, you can rewrite them in Natural and you have a lot of benefit out of that. Yeah? So we see many customers increasing the Adabas Natural footprint. This is good news. Yeah? And this happens on mainframe, but also in the cloud. In order to avoid a misunderstanding, maybe it doesn't exist, but I want to eliminate this potential misunderstanding. We are not experimenting with the cloud. We have large installations running in the cloud already. So it is proven, it works. And it is reliable, and it is performant. It is fast. Yeah? So we want to give you the freedom to decide where you want to run the Adabas Natural workload, but we hope you will continue to run Adabas Natural workload. I hope this answers your question.